All right, everybody, a thread from Carlos Asuida. The COVID-19 pandemic has made me dump all of my previous news sources. I'm giving this one a try. It helped me finally see the fatal flaws of leftism when it comes to dealing with crises. Allsides.com. So, here are the lethal shortcomings baked into the leftist cake. These failings make leftism non-viable when it comes to governance. Leftism is utterly reactive, never proactive. All leftists criticized Donald Trump when he imposed travel restrictions on China. Leftists always wait until the problem manifests itself, and then they take steps to react to it. Leftists are delusional and situational second guessers. They demand perfection from their opponents, while they themselves universally screw up. When their opponents are in power, government is supposed to be magic. Leftists don't lie. They believe their own propaganda. When they say that Trump wants to murder the elderly, they believe it. Leftists live in the moment, ignoring the past. This is how they believe their own crazy accusations and how they absolve themselves of their own failures. Leftists demand rigid centralization, which is why cities, counties, and states completely failed when it came to preparing for the current pandemic. Obviously, Trump didn't ignore the pandemic, but even if he had, the cities, counties, and states are required to have their own stockpiles. It's logistically impossible for the federal government to deliver supplies in a timely fashion. We don't have Star Trek transporters. Supplies have to be allocated, loaded, transported, unloaded, loaded, transported, unloaded, loaded, transported, and then unloaded. Nobody knows this. Leftism is an identity, so even when dealing with a pandemic, leftists are thinking politically. Their heads are full of hate, and they're working out how to damage Trump even as they're trying to stem the spread of the virus. That means they automatically fail. To leftists, human life is not valuable. To sate the lust of power, more horrid still, the foulest stain and scandal of our nature, became its boast. One murder made a villain, millions a hero. Princes were privileged to kill, and numbers sanctified the crime. Ah, why will kings forget that they are men? Death, a poetical essay, B.L.B. Porteous, 1759. Leftists view all non-leftists as illegitimate. To leftists, non-leftists always act in bad faith. This accusation made against Trump is especially ludicrous. He put his re-election on the line in order to save human lives. Not only that, he's working feverishly to save jobs when this is over. I'm stunned at how utterly stupid pundits on the right and left are. They think Trump's plan is to give people a pittance and let them sink or swim. My brother is working with several contractors in Las Vegas. They all had every single job canceled. After the emergency relief package was passed, they started getting jobs again. This one is extremely funny. People have no idea what Newsom said. In this town hall article, Newsom says, quote, "There is opportunity for reimagining a progressive era as it pertains to capitalism," Newsom said. "Forgive me for being long-winded, but absolutely, we see this as an opportunity to reshape the way we do business and how we govern." You know what reimagine means? It means change our minds. Newsom is saying that progressive governance must become more oriented toward capitalism. And conservatives are bitching? Mind-boggling. Leftists believe that those who they see as enemies can never be redeemed, so they should be shunned forever. Have you heard of Daryl Davis? Leftists hate him. There's a long feature somewhere in which Davis is interviewed by a biracial reporter for some leftist rag. She opposes what he's doing, and he's a guy who tries to convert people away from racism. The reporter asks, "Do you want them to continue being," and then so Daryl Davis asks the reporter, "Do you want them to continue being racists?" "No." "Then what's the problem?" "Well, even if they're no longer racists, they don't deserve a second chance." "Why not?" "Because they were racists." He brought out a Grand Dragon robe from his collection, and she almost had a heart attack. "Guess what I did with this?" he asked. "I tried it on and stood in front of the mirror." The reporter was going to pieces. There's literally nothing viable about leftism. The COVID-19 pandemic is proving it. David Plouffe, Obama's former right-hand man, said today that Trump's turnout in November will be historic. He's right. This is the final aspect of leftism that makes it non-viable. Leftists can't see when they're being led into traps. Trump is already being vindicated on all fronts. The economy will come roaring back. We've never had the government switch off the economy, which means that this downward trend is entirely artificial. This has no antecedent in history. None of the rules apply. Everybody I've heard is just mindlessly flapping their gums. They have no idea what they're talking about. It goes back to that refusal to grant Trump agency, the ability to act. My brother is the only person I know who understands Trump as fully as I do. Trump isn't crossing his fingers and hoping. He's making sure that the economy comes roaring back. And all the political analysis of the election, from right and left, ignores Trump's agency. All analysts think that only the Democrats matter. Trump did this by design, but nobody can see it. They've given themselves amnesia. I heard somebody I really respect say that Biden can easily win because he's, quote, a return to normalcy, and that's what Americans want. She's totally unaware of the fact that Trump fooled everybody by putting out disinformation that he feared only Bernie. They, they think Trump is unprepared for Biden. Take this to the bank. If Biden is the nominee, all his dirty laundry will be exposed. Lunch Pail Joe doesn't exist. Biden is a vicious swamp creature with the history to prove it. Nobody thinks Trump is ready for all comers. And that's why Trump will win.